Good afternoon, everyone. And today I'm going to introduce uh, Kobayashi opening Fuseki today. And we all know that Kobayashi opening is founded or invented by Mr. Kobayashi Dan Pro from Japan. And the Kobayashi Fuseki is like this one: star point, 3-4 points, and corner approach, then expand back. So, the Kobayashi Fuseki is invented on about 1960s, and at that time, people all believe that Kobayashi Fuseki is a really nice opening. But with AI, artificial intelligence appears, Kobayashi Fuseki is denied by AI because the winning rate is not high. Now today I'm going to introduce about 3 points, 3 ways to deal with Kobayashi Fuseki. First is here, another one is here, and A and B and C. First we start from the corner approach at R6, and the black have 2 ways, mainly 2 ways. One is here, one is here. So if black protect his corner on R4, and now white have 2 ways. One is here to extend, not extend, expand. Another one is to make a bigger expand. So now let's see the first one. So according to some professional players' words, they told me that if black play this game like this one, and after this Joseki, if black have 7.5 Komi, and black is not good. Usually black have about only 30% winning rate, and at that time, okay, actually people believe that black give white so many spaces to leave, and later there is a invasion, and also there is an invasion, so the black's territory is not big enough, so this is not good for black. And in about 2008, this is very popular in China. Not only professional but also amateur. All the players love to play like this one. Okay, so actually, white win more. So about this one, black will just attack from this side, and now if white to play some big points, black will not Atari, just attack, and white cannot capture this stone, cannot capture this A stone, so it's really hard for black to it's really hard for white to leave here to take here or 2 groups. So I believe that white cannot accept this result. So in this area, white need to reinforce himself. Now the only choice for white is to play here. And now black, sometimes they want to leave something in white's shape, so they peep first and then reinforce himself. Now white have 2 choices. One is to reinforce himself, another one is to take another big points. So usually that white will reinforce himself, and black protect his corner, and white protect his corner. So this will be a really normal opening, and seems like the previous one. But if white leave here and to take this big point, and the evasion or the attack for black is to play here. If white want to block, and black can play this one, and white, it's really hard for white. If you keep cutting off the black will divide white into 2 groups, and now we see that it's really hard for white to settle down two groups. I think black is good. Okay, so if black play here, the only way for white to settle down is to give the territory for black and take the big thickness on the middle board. So I think it's okay for white to accept this result, and it's a long game. Okay, for black's this move, white have two ways, and both ways have Jusekis, but finally it's a normal opening. But usually people, especially professional players, believe that this is good for white. So sometimes we play this jump, and if you play here, and black will descend, and if you extend, I will play here, and then I will attack you. You cannot fly. You cannot make this knight move because I can push and cut. Now we see that there are still two groups for white, and black only one group, the stone with a circle, the cut. So in this fight, I believe that black is better, but actually if white just maybe play these moves, and here is some sentence or something that white can play in the end game, and white can get this big point. I think white still can accept this result because these 5 stones in the right bottom corner is really thick. Even black play 2 moves cannot kill these stones, so white don't need to worry about these stones. Okay, anyway, the Kobayashi Fuseki is really hard for black to get some benefits. Now let's see the Juseki in this corner. If black jump here, white will just make this knight move into the corner. So now black need to play something. Now I will introduce 4 options for black. One is to push, another one is a jump, the third one is an approach, and a higher approach. Now let's start from this one. This approach is the most common Joseki in this Kobayashi Fuseki. So white definitely won't be blocked inside, so white will just play a point. And now black sometimes he need to push and make this shape. Now we see there is a really important point for white. It's A. If you just jump up, black will play this move first, and you need to connect, and then he play here. So now if you play this one, I can cut you by these moves. So now we see that it's really hard for white to sacrifice this one stone, but if you see this one stone, your 7 stones will be killed. It's really hard to accept this result, right? So this is white will collapse. So at this time, white need to play a point. If black get this area, and this is Joseki that we see mostly. So now black need to take care of his big moyo. Jump. And now white have so many ways to deal with this one. And for example, if white play here, and then white can just invade here. Remember, if white want to invade this corner, in this moyo, white have this one. Black can protect this way, or black can protect this way. Because if you want to block me from the upper side, I can play this You need to reinforce yourself. But now I can easily to settle down myself. So this is not acceptable for black. So black have only two choices. One is to protect from the lower side. Another one is connect. Okay, now we can see another way for white to play here and to invade again. So finally, we have a conclusion that for this Joseki, we have conclusion that black need to expand his moyo, but white have some ways to invade. Okay, so I believe that if black cannot kill this one stone, black waste so many territory, give too many territory for white. This is not good enough for black. Okay, so for this Joseki, I still have something to tell, and we still have many options for black. One is jump, another is a knight move. So for these moves, they are really complicated, and I will introduce it in the next video. And please watch the Kobayashi too to see the how to deal with these two moves. Okay, so now let's continue from the C point. We will replay the Joseki here. Okay, this is the Joseki for this Fuseki Okay. So now let's see the second point for black. If black play here, think where white should do. Okay, I think you might have the same result with the last one. So white cannot be blocked inside by A, so white need to get up here. And this time the black stone is here, so black have the chance to block white into the area. So white will just honey up, and now that this is a really common, common Joseki here. Maybe everyone knows this Joseki when they first time learn the Kobayashi Fuseki. White honey, white Atari, Atari again, and now there is one Tisuji for white. If you learn it, you will know it immediately. Atari, then black need to capture, and white Atari down here. And we see that white Atari black into a really ugly shape, and this is really acceptable for white. Black need to capture this one, and now white get a chance to make this corner approach. We see that white get about 11 points in the right bottom corner, but black only capture 3 stones in this process, and black have about 20 points for all. So this is not acceptable for black. Black have so many stones at the beginning, but now we see that the point is close, but although black is really thick, but we see that these stones are too close. So this thick wall cannot use his effect, and also we see in the C point, white still can invade the black corner. Okay, so this is not acceptable for black, and we see if we play A, and white can accept this result. Okay, now let's come to the third one. For the third one, I think this is really popular in also about 2007 or 2006. At that time, I'm still an insane in China, and I really like to play here because it's easy for me to get some benefit if white plays something wrong. So now let's see. There are 3 ways for white. One is to push. Another one is to crawl. And the third one is to Nobi in the corner. So now let's see. This one is the most popular one, and black will block. And this is a common start, and at that time we usually play this one. And if white to make this knight move, and now we see that black gets some benefits, because later, pay attention to this move. Later, if white to play here, black can cut and cut. Now we see if white to extend into the corner, this is really painful for white. If you connect, I can Nobi first and block you inside. So this is not acceptable for white. This is definitely unacceptable for white. So if you just Atari and capture, now black get the corner with a centi, and we see that white is leaf, but later we still have something. If there is one black stone and we add another one black stone, if later we have this shape, black can click here to kill the white group. It's a call in for this area. You need to, oh, it's not a call. If you honey, then it's a call. If you do not have this honey, you will die here. So this is not acceptable for white. But we see that in this area, white can crawl one more. And then he played this knight move. You play here, then white can invade from this side. This is acceptable for white, because you need to reinforce yourself. If you not, I can cut. And now we see that white can descend. If you honey, I can tarry. You extend, I tarry, and I bend down. Now we see there are two choices for black, but if white get one, black collapsed. So this is definitely unacceptable for both of them. Okay, so there is a defect for black, so black need to reinforce himself, and now white can invade from this side. If black block from the upside, white can extend. Remember, you cannot play this move because the ladder is not good for you. So this will be a big loss for white. This is not good for white. So extend. If black block, you can push and Atari. So although black have some potential in the middle, but white gets so many points, this is definitely unacceptable for black. Okay, so if black connect, white can crawl inside. And now we see that this is definitely acceptable for white. White gets so many points. Black get potential, but we don't know how this potential will be used. This is acceptable for white. Okay, now let's continue. So the way for white to deal with black is to crawl and crawl one more and to make this knight move. This is acceptable. So now let's see how black will do if black honey here. If honey here, we see that white cannot Atari, because you Atari, you lost your corner. You lost the corner. And this is not acceptable because white's group is still not leaf. It's only have one eye here, but black have already got the big corner. And now let's see how it goes. So you have your Atari. This is not a good Atari. Your Atari, and I connect Atari down. You kill my two stones, but you pay for that. You pay for a big corner. This is not a big good choice for white. So when white honey, somebody tells me that, okay, teacher, I will play here, but now you make the mistake. If I play here, you say, okay, I think this is a close Joseki for that. Okay, no, definitely no. So with that Joseki, compared to that Joseki, these two, A is a white stone, B is a black stone. Now we do not have these two stones. This is the huge difference. And also there are two stones. This C and D exchange is really bad for white. So I think if we play the Joseki like this, black will definitely have the advantage. Okay, so when black honey and become honey, if black now extend, now we can Atari this. Then when we play this first, we see that the exchange, sorry, the exchange here is really benefit for white, right? This is not 5 points or 6 points, it's about 10 more points. This is a big loss for black. Okay, so when we see the game like this, sorry, you cannot extend. You need to connect. Okay, you connect, I extend. Then you play here. You say, okay, teacher, I think this is really close to the variation that you told white is bad. Only two exchange more in this shape. So I can tell you, I give you the conclusion that if we play like this, white is good, definitely good, because I know you can play this again. I know you now you can play this move. I can Atari first. Even though there is nothing in your territory, I have already leave here. So this push is really hard for for black to accept it. Okay, so even though you have this one stone here, I got these big points, and you play these moves. This push is really hurtful for black. Okay, I think white can definitely accept this result. Alright, the Juseki of this jump is like this. This jump is really complicated, and I told you that white can push, push and bend. Also, white can crawl, then push. These two are really similar, but I am going to introduce one more. Is to Nobi in the corner, Sansan, and if you descend, I can play these moves again, but now you do not have this S5. Okay, and somebody told me that okay, I can connect. If you play this again, I can cut you at S5. Now this is not acceptable for you because you make this exchange in this corner. These two exchanges, I will mark it as A and B. This exchanges is definitely not acceptable for white. So in this area, white has a clear move is to descend. If black connect, then white can get some big points, or white can just invade here. So this is good for white because it's really clear and really simple for white, and white won't lose something in this area. Okay, now let's come to our next move is to push. If you push, I need to extend because if I honey, you can cut me, and I will make you got a senti here, the black got senti and can kill this one stones here. So this is not acceptable for white. White only has 6 points in the corner, but the outside is all black stones. This is definitely unacceptable. So you need to extend, and white will block black inside. And now we see there is a Fuseki here. I play here, and then honey. If you cut me, I can make this knight move here. But okay, sorry, made a mistake. White will directly make this knight move. If you want to block me, I have one move for you. Push. And now we see if you extend, you need to save 1 stones here. I can honey and extend. If you play this move, you want to use this ladder and another ladder, I can make this move first. Okay, and this actually is really popular Fuseki about 2 years ago. My friends told me, okay, it's a Fuseki. I say, oh really? Now we see that black make this tiger mouth and white kill this 1 stone, and now black extends. If you play here, I can block you all inside. This is a so huge wall here. This is not acceptable for black. Not for white. And now white will Atari and extend. And make these moves. Now we see that this is not acceptable. It's both acceptable for both white and black. Okay. So remember this Fuseki. When white make this knight move, black have one way to block white inside and play this Q R9 and cut. If black extends, and white can play these moves. And now the only way white cannot crawl on the second line. This is not acceptable for black. So black will play this one and this one. Now white can honey here. Remember, 3 stones and 2 stones, but definitely 2 stones are more important. Make this tiger mouth. Bend here. Atari and extend. Now you cannot save this 1 stone. You will be killed by a ladder. Okay, you need to play here and extend. And black will close this area and to capture all the territory in this area. So this is good for black. Okay. Now this Fuseki is come to end. If black plays some big points or he wants to expand his territory, remember that if white honey here, do not cut, because cut, white will make a big wall here and all your potential will be reduced. So in this area, black just extend. This is okay for black. Okay, let's come to the last one. Okay, do we have a last one? Oh, we finished. Oh, good. So now let's make some conclusion. First, we talk about these 4 points. Sorry, I just okay, let's continue. Okay, sorry for my interruption, and now I'm going to make the conclusion of this video. First, for the Kobayashi Fuseki, we have today we introduce only this Joseki here. Black have two ways. One is here, another one is here. Now if black play here, and white can play this expansion, and this one I believe that is acceptable for white. And if white play here, it's still okay for white to play to reinforce himself after this reinforce. White can accept, but remember, don't leave these two stones away, and they will be punished by this Atari. This is not okay. This attack, not Atari, attack. This is not good. Okay, now let's come to this shape, and if white reinforce is okay, not reinforce is still okay. Okay, these are the Joseki here, and for this Joseki, white go inside, and black have four ways. The first one, I will just introduce the original or the most common Joseki here. Another one is this one, and this is not good for black because white will directly give black a really ugly shape, and this is not acceptable for black. Okay, and now let's come to the third one. If black jump, and it's like a tricky move, and white, remember, just scroll one more, and now we see there is nothing in this area for white, both for black. Okay, now sorry for this Joseki, and we see if black honey more, you can just honey down here. This push is really painful for black. Okay, now let's come to the another one. Another options for white. White can Nobi in the Sansan, and then if black connects, then you can push and descend. This is a really simple way for white to settle down here. Now we see black only got one wall here, but still leave some invasion for white. So this is not good for black. Okay, now let's come to the end. Come to the last one. Play here. Now we see white cannot honey outside directly because you will be blocked inside by this move. Then I think first of all, if you play here, black can just capture your stones. But if you play this move, then it will be a long story, and it's really complicated. We'll also interpret it in the next video. Okay, so next video I will introduce some complicated Joseki of the Kobayashi Fuseki. So about the last one, the right way for white to deal with black is to just make this knight move. If black jump, I can honey and you extend. So this is acceptable for both of them. Okay, today I just introduced some simple and really useful Josekis of the Kobayashi Fuseki, and this is acceptable. I wish that you can learn it and use it in your games. If you have any questions, just send email to me, or you can just ask me on Discord or on WeChat. It's okay. Welcome for your discussion, and thanks for watching. Thank you.